why she makes $200,000 a year.
She's figured it out. She's like, crap.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Middles Open. I'm Michael Morris. Sitting with me, Doug Risher. Doug, how are you?
Good, Mike. How you doing?
I'm good, buddy. And we got Lou Willard. Lou, how are you?
I'm doing awesome.
Today, I want to get right into it because we have one of the greatest running backs ever in backyard football, myself, and Lou Willard, who was really good at football in high school, too.
I was good at it on Madden.
Yeah, so
It
like
counts.
all three of us are
exactly
athletes.
what you're talking about.
Here's what I want to talk about, because right now, Melvin Gordon of the Chargers is holding out, and he's saying, pay me or trade me. And then Zeke follows suit and says he's thinking about holding out. So you'd have two of the biggest stars, the star running backs, that are going to hold out to start the season. One of the things I want to get a perspective on is, Lou, you did this, and Ohio State wanted you badly. You went through training camps. You know what it's like to take a pounding over and over again, not just playing.
Whoa, we're on the radio.
Right. Well, it is his 25th anniversary
you mean
this
with
week.
football? Okay.
His wife knows it too.
Okay.
But I want you to address what it's like from your point of view, somebody that knows that you're going to take a beating every single practice, every single game, and you're going to get the summer off and you're going to go back to it. But as an adult, what's that going to be like to get used and abused for, let's say, an average of 3 to 5 years?
Well, I mean, it's tough, but at least the rules have changed now. You realize during the football season, NFL season, they only allow 14 contact practices throughout the year. You know, less than average of one a week. Way back in the leather helmet days when we all played, you went full go live.
Leather helmet days.
Leather helmet days.
You're going way back.
Oh, yeah. You went full go live every day, and it would beat you up. But even towards my time at Ohio State, you got to the point where you had live days and you had 3 days, but it was don't hit. Like we had Robert Smith. Don't nobody hit Robert low. Kind of need him on Saturday. That kind of thing. And you protected them. Herbie and Joey, those guys did not get hit. They threw us young guys out there
Right.
when it came time for people to take a beating. But with these guys, these two in particular, I just find it interesting. Zeke needs to try to stay out of trouble. That's the first thing he has to worry about. And Melvin Gordon's coming back off an injury.
Right.
So it's going to be tough on him. It's going to be tough.
Well, typically, right, running backs have a shorter career because it's so more physical than most of the positions, right? So they got to make a big payday in that short amount of time, right? So I kind of can relate to what they're doing, but at the same time, don't their teammates kind of resent them for this?
Absolutely not.
You don't think so?
Absolutely not.
Remember when Roy Hall, when we asked him
Yeah.
if
You got to get your payday.
Yeah.
It's all about,
because his thing was, if you could get paid, everybody was on your side. They'd say, yeah, go get the
But
money.
once they start missing games, you don't think they're going to
Not one bit.
turn on them?
Not one
Because
bit.
it's going to affect the overall performance of the team.
The only reason the Steelers turned on Le'Veon Bell was because he lied to him.
Okay.
And he told him he was coming. And he called him and told him he was coming. And then he just no-called, no-showed him. And so they got pissed at him.
Right.
They had his back even playing without him. And so these situations, because it's the shelf life, NFL players, it's an average of a 2-year career for everybody.
Right.
And a running back just falls into that 3 to 4 year period. But so when you're going to get your money, they have your support, because if you get paid,
They get paid.
odds are they'll get paid when their turn comes up. So somebody's got to go out
Well,
there and do it.
and for all these other running backs, the more that they're going to make, it kind of makes it possible for them to make.
Yes,
big
Todd
paydays.
Gurley set the standard.
Right.
Then promptly got hurt.
But once you're sitting out, the guy who's behind you, it's really about how good your team is.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're playing for the Cowboys and Zeke doesn't play, you're still going to rush for 100 yards because they got the best offensive line in football.
You know who hopes Zeke holds
Yeah,
out? It's
exactly.
Mike Weber.
Exactly.
Right.
Mike Weber's the one out because they're friends, but they're like, hey, man, stay home.
It's his turn, yeah.
Stay home because I'm trying to get paid. And James Conner was not sad to see Le'Veon Bell not show up.
But that's where I think you start to see, if you're missing a quarterback. So if you've got a top, let's just say any
No,
starting
that'll
quarterback.
kill you.
Well, obviously the situation where when Brady got hurt, they lucked out and they just happened to have somebody in the wings that they were running that Patriot system.
His system. Yeah, Brady's not good.
But if
system.
Kansas City loses Mahomes, I see what you did there. If Kansas City loses Mahomes, they're in big trouble. Right?
Absolutely.
So your whole season can get wrecked there. I don't see the position anymore where it used to be you'd have two quality backs, especially a fullback. Fullback wasn't getting paid, but your tailback was getting paid.
Yeah.
Now everybody's running this one-back system, and you got a couple of backups in between to give them rest. But if you go back to when Jamal Anderson was with the Falcons, He was the first back to carry over 400 times. Following year, gets hurt right away, ACL, never plays again. Because his body just didn't bounce back. So the way they're doing it now is, if I've got you on a rookie deal, it's a 5-year deal, I'm not expecting you to make it through the end of that. I'm thinking I'm going to get 1,600 carries to, let's say, 2,000 carries. What are you worth at that point? You're only 27 to 28 years old, but you're banged up. You're not as fast. You're not hitting the holes as fast. And these guys aren't great blockers. So if they're not great receivers on top of it, what are you getting out of it? They're a one-dimensional player. I'm not saying they're wrong for holding out. I'm just saying that's the way an ownership group would look at it.
Well, what the players have done, and the owners have done as well, is you look at the rookie running backs that came out now. They're on these 4-year deal, but the fourth year is optional.
Right.
But they've guaranteed the contract for them. So when they say football players would never get guaranteed contracts, that's starting to change a little bit. Kirk Cousins is guaranteed at $84 million,
and he's totally worth it because the Vikings are amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Till they play in prime time.
Okay.
But so like the younger guys are getting a guaranteed contract, but it's you don't want to say like a $5 to $8 million 4-year deal is chump change, because it's not. But they want to get to that to get to the big deal, like Le'Veon Bell got, who lost money by going to the Jets. He bet on himself and he lost. And people, they thought that, like, Lou, won't you light him up? Well, no, he bet on himself. He just lost. He'll never recoup the $14 million.
He lost twice. He lost the money, but also he's on the Jets.
Yeah. And he'll just fade away. I mean, I think Darnold will be pretty good. So, but they have nothing else. They have Darnold and they have Bell.
But that's the worst organization in football.
Yes, it's dysfunctional. I mean, it's total dysfunction. But like I was saying, he lost the $14 million, and the contract Pittsburgh had offered him was more than the one he signed for the Jets. But he had burned the bridge and couldn't come back. His mouth wrote a check, his butt couldn't cash at the end of the day. But these guys are betting on themselves. If Zeke didn't have the off the field trouble, I don't think Jerry Jones will have a problem paying him. I really don't, because he knows if Dak Prescott is going to be any good, he has to have a really good running back.
So I read this. I wanted to know what you guys thought. Based on Zeke and the Cowboys, I saw this person say it's the biggest star on the glitziest team with the showiest owner fighting over millions and millions of dollars. Do you think he's gonna hold out and get the money? I mean, like you said, if he can stay out of trouble off the field.
I think if it wasn't the Cowboys, if it was any other team, I think he'd hold out and they wouldn't work it out.
Okay.
I think because they went through this with Emmitt Smith, it was the '93 he held out and they lost the first 2 games. They had to pay that.
They don't want that to happen.
But he's not, to me,
the biggest
he's
star.
He's not Emmitt Smith in terms of, I think he's talented.
Right.
But that Cowboys team being able to play with Aikman, that he could play action fake and get Alvin Harper was really
underrated.
a third option on that team, but he was a really great third option.
Yeah.
You saw what happened when he went to Tampa Bay. He was nothing because they couldn't use him the way they wanted to use him in a play action game.
The Cowboys had it figured out.
But you could count on Emmitt Smith to give you 28 to 35 carries. He wasn't going to have a ton of big runs, whereas Zeke will get these big runs. But what else can he do? Is he going to catch a bunch of balls out of the backfield? How is he going to play in that offense? If you take him out, I still think there's somebody that can back him up. Like you said, Weber.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott isn't as good as Troy Aikman.
No.
It hurts the entire team not having. That's where I think he has a leg to stand on. Gordon, I've got Phillip Rivers. I've got really good wide receivers. I've got a good defense. I can win games if my running back is not making whatever he wants. The $14 million a year.
If Zeke holds out, the Cowboys are in a world of trouble, and Jerry Jones knows about it.
So they're going to cave.
Yeah,
ultimately.
I don't even think they're going to cave. I just think they're going to give him what he deserves.
Right.
I mean,
the team at that
because
point.
he catches the ball out of the backfield. He gets every handoff. I mean, he is the squad. Until they got Amari Cooper.
Right.
And they got some nice pieces around him, but their biggest question is the quarterback. They just paid him, but I think he's a poor man's Russell Wilson, because I think Russell Wilson's really good.
I think he's a young Jim Harbaugh. He had the same. I got to scramble around the pocket. You're not throwing deep outs with him unless you got 1-on-1. But it's a lot of play action. The safety is cheated over. I just see a lot of similarities in that game. Not that Harbaugh was as much as trying to run downfield with it, but he was shifty in the pocket. But he couldn't throw the ball consistently over 35 yards.
Yeah, and he didn't throw what they like to say, throw guys open.
Right.
Prescott, you got to be open for him to get you the ball. And I just think that's going to be their downfall. So they need to pay the running back. They really do.
I just can't believe they paid Dak. At that point, if you know you're going to have this problem with Elliott, I think Elliott's within his rights to say, do you know who's carrying this team? It's me, and you gave the quarterback money. But this is a quarterback-driven league. It's not a defensive-driven league anymore. If you've got a great defense, awesome. You're still going to have 28 points because offense is favored in this league. But if you're not going to pay that running back, I think the mistake is this sets the standard for the other guys, the younger guys. You know, if you're in Cincinnati or you're with the Browns, you're going to get a big deal because you're going to say my statistics are comparable to this guy, right?
Yeah.
They're comparable to Zeke. You could be on a 6-10 team and rush for 1,800 yards. Chris Johnson's the most notable one that I look at. I mean, getting 2,000 yards. The guy looked unstoppable, but they were also Tennessee wasn't any good.
Yeah, they were not good.
So if you don't go to camp, you get fined $40,000 a day, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
so,
you can.
So sitting out, that's like 1.56 million or 5 million, 1.5 million, I think you said.
Yeah.
I got to agree with Chris Carter, who says that he should just go to camp, Zeke. You know, let everybody know he wants to play. He's not going to play in any games with no contract by the 4th preseason game, and then just don't play.
Well, that's what Boza did.
Yeah. And that's what they'll do. They won't miss camp. They'll go to camp.
Right.
Because they're not going to do anything
money.
anyway.
Right.
They're not playing in the preseason anyway. The Rams messed that up for the NFL last year. Did not play a starter, one snap all preseason, and got to the Super Bowl. So these guys aren't playing in the preseason.
Right.
So
Not worth
people
the
can
risk.
cry about the tickets and all they want to. These guys are not playing. And if I'm an owner, I'm pulling all of my starters out of the preseason. Because you already don't get the hit. So why are you going to let them get hurt in a preseason game? If they're going to get hurt, they're going to get hurt on Thursdays, Sundays, or Mondays. That's it.
So what's the point of going to these preseason games? Just to show your sport?
As a fan,
Right.
I have no answer. There's
Have you ever
no
been
way.
To one? Have you ever been to one?
I
it's
have not.
the most
I have not
miserable-
been to a preseason
It's like
game
watching
ever.
soccer because you don't know who the guys are, and then they're
Male
not-
soccer or female soccer.
Oh.
There's literally zero difference. When I say soccer,
Well,
male
the
or
females
female,
actually win. So
yeah, it's one big snore fest. But when,
Yeah.
no offense, go Crew, but what I'm saying is when you're
And
watching,
this show is sponsored by.
yeah, when you're watching, when you're younger and you're saying, I want to see if these guys are going to make the team, we pretty much know who's going to make the
Yeah,
team.
but now it doesn't matter. Like you said, they're
Yeah.
not even going to play.
Right,
So.
there's not a lot of sleepers, but I got to put this thing on because I told you the play was going to be at 8 o'clock, so you better be in your seats. Doesn't matter. You're just watching football because you're so hungry for it.
Yeah, it's been a while. So yeah.
Yeah, I can't watch it.
But
I
if they
just can't
extend
watch
it, the rumor is they want to extend to 18 games, cut the preseason down and go to 18 games. That's going to be a farce right there. Because now, whatever money you got, if you got your money now, it doesn't matter. I added another 2 games, 2 more weeks of practice. I've got more hitting that you're going to have to
So
do.
less preseason and add on 2 full games.
Yeah, take out 2 preseason games and add 2 regular
So
season,
18 regular.
which the players they won't pass that.
Why don't you just play 162 games?
Yeah.
Be
Full
like
contact
baseball.
every day. Yeah.
But
Yeah, the players will not pass that.
I think you're going to see a lockout over this because the owners want 18 games because it's a lot more revenue,
Yeah.
and they're going to make more revenue getting rid of 2 preseason because nobody's going that. That last preseason game doesn't mean anything. 'Cause nobody plays.
Crickets. Correct. There's more people on the field on both teams than there are in the stands.
But they're doing
It's
that
bad.
for parking. They're doing that so you're buying pop and beer and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're just doing it as
So you're telling me if somehow they pass that 18 games, that show the Rocks on Ballers will be actually longer season?
it's never going to
I'm
end.
down for that then,
It's
because I like
that show's never going to end. I'd rather watch that than watch Tampa play the Jets.
Dude, that's actually a pretty good show. You should check it out.
I watched a couple episodes. I'm educated.
I know it's not Brock Lesnar, but it's another wrestler.
I'd watch that show if Brock Lesnar was on that show. I'll tell you that right now.
Eddie George was,
You're big on this Eddie George
and he
thing.
cried in it.
Did you ever
I
go
was-
to?
I was
Did
actually
you go to
impressed.
Eddie George's restaurant?
I have, yeah.
Is it still there?
Yeah, they moved it.
It's Grandview, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in Grandview now, right next to Jason's Deli, I think.
Well,
it's
go
called.
out there and get that mac and cheese because I'm gonna tell you what, that's the best mac and cheese.
I'll never forget. I went there for lunch when we were downtown, and Buddy was like, "Let's go to Eddie George's Grill." I think it was on High Street, and they deep fry an actual burger, the whole burger with bun and everything. And they deep fry it. I didn't eat it because you literally die right there. But
That's a solid endorsement
Yep.
for Eddie George's Grill. I remember.
pretty sure he's gonna come on the show now because of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, makes sense.
I remember Jerome Bettis had that Jerome Bettis Cafe. I don't know if it's still up, but I think you kind of burn a bridge when you're like 50
right on
years
the
old. And
bus
you're like,
line.
yeah, go out and get that food. But there's another guy. I mean, look at his life, or Earl Campbell. Those
Bettis
guys,
is fine. Campbell's in a wheelchair.
right, but I'm saying if you watch that documentary about him like getting ready for the week,
Oh yeah.
you're putting your body through all those paces. I know you're getting paid, but there's a limit to how long you can do it.
Yeah.
Right. There's
Oh,
not,
absolutely has a shelf life.
There's no 37-year-old running backs anymore.
No. Oh no. Oh no. You'll die on the field.
I mean, most professional sports, there's not, except for maybe baseball.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple basketball players.
And you'll see
Most
some
of them-
quarterbacks get there too.
Well, like Brady.
Yeah, you got Brady
but
and
it's
Rivers.
not too
and,
often.
Yeah,
I mean,
those guys getting up there.
But you know what's weird is that the quarterbacks never really hold out anymore. You never hear because every team knows they got to pay those guys. If they're Dak Prescott or they're Tom Brady, they're getting taken care of.
I mean,
first.
Case Keenum's making $18 million a year.
And he's earned it. That guy has earned every
Earned
dollar.
it one bad pass at a time.
But the quarterbacks get taken care of. The ones I don't understand are wide receivers. A wide receiver's only as good as the person that's getting the ball to him. So I can't wait to see AB
Antonio
play in
Brown's going to
Oakland.
realize it really quick.
Yeah. So he got his money and he got his trade, and he's going to still be upset.
Oh, absolutely. He'll be a train wreck.
So you guys think Zeke will get his money? What about Melvin Gordon though?
I think he's going to hold out. For some reason in San Diego, everybody holds out.
Yeah, I think
Bosa held out.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers.
So he's going on his 5th year of his rookie deal. He's going to make $5.6 million, but he wants a new contract.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's going to do the same thing as Zeke, go to camp and then just
To me,
not
that's
play
Chris
the first.
Johnson.
He may skip the first couple of weeks of camp, then show up when they start playing preseason
But
games.
what's the point of that? You're just going to be throwing money down the drain. I know these guys have money, but
Because they're really not going to find him.
you don't think so?
A lot of those
Not gonna
teams
fight
just keep it out of the press.
Yeah.
So they'll say they're fining him $40
And
grand a day.
they won't find him. No.
The Players Association would step in anyway and
Yeah.
say, you can't fine this guy. You're in the middle of a contract negotiation. You can't fine him $40 grand a day, even though it's in the players'
It's right.
agreement.
It's literally
Yeah.
an agreement.
But it's funny because he'll probably have to hold out because Bosa had to hold out because the Chargers, like I was saying, the contracts are 3 years, but it's an option for the fourth. The Chargers wouldn't give him that option. And the only rookie in the league at that year, they would not give him the
And
option.
why was that?
I have no
Nobody
idea.
knows?
Nobody knows. So he had to hold out till they changed their mind.
Well, I think some of that has to do with family history. Like his dad was injury prone when he played for the Dolphins, and then his brother. I'm just saying, when you have a history of injuries, I think people want your talent, but they're also trying to protect themselves
Yeah.
because. And I'm not knocking him. Everybody gets hurt.
That's pretty crazy to think that you can base it off his father being, injury
Well,
prone.
just think
But I
about
mean,
it.
I guess it's hereditary.
Plus
but-
they're a cheap organization.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what had the most to do with it. They didn't want him to walk away after 3 years, and they wanted to keep him for the fourth. And they're cheap. If they can lock him up for 4 instead of 3, they're saving a ton of money.
Yeah.
They are kind of like the Costco of the NFL. Like they don't want to pay anybody
They're
what it's
cheap.
worth.
Yeah.
Which is why I think they lucked out with Rivers because Rivers never wanted
Well, I
to
think
leave.
Costco pays their employees pretty decently, though.
$15 an hour, Melvin Gordon. If you want to go to Costco, you can. Shout out to Costco.
He'll literally bag your groceries in those boxes, not bag.
But let's say they pay both these
Off
guys.
seasons.
Are the Cowboys going to win their division? If they have Zeke, do they win the division?
No, because
No?
the Eagles are really, really good.
Right. So you got
No
all that
chance.
Well, I don't think so because of quarterback.
I mean, the Browns are going to probably win everything, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I don't know why
If you
anybody
get
else is
on
playing.
Facebook,
Okay.
if
I
you
don't
get
know
on
why anybody else
Facebook,
is playing.
yeah. But so you're going to have Cooper's making big money,
Yep.
Dak, Zeke, and then on defense you've got a couple guys on it. But you're going to have this running list of people you're going to have to like repair that roster with because they got a great offensive line. You're going to start to lose some of those guys.
Right.
They don't have that kind of Bill Belichick. I'll just go and
Get a
get
grocery
whoever.
store, and you
Yeah.
can play for us,
But your scouting department plays a big role in who you're picking. I think they've done a great job drafting, but they haven't got the skill position players right, other than Zeke.
Yeah, they're lacking at the receiver spot
Well,
outside
what's-
of Cooper, but they traded for that.
What's Zeke pulling in right now? You guys know off the top of your head?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
He's on his rookie deal.
More
I think
than us,
it's
I
like
think.
six and a
Yeah,
half
he
million
might
a
be
year.
more up in Mike's tax bracket.
Is it
Yeah.
6.5?
I believe so.
Yeah, see.
Because it's all slotted. When you go 1 through 10,
Tapers down, right?
it tapers down. But if you look at that team,
Well, he's probably at the most valuable he can possibly be at this one moment, right?
Oh, this is
yeah,
it.
today.
Right.
Yeah.
So a year from now, 2 years from now,
He
he's
goes
that's-
downhill from there.
I'm not saying his production will decline, but the value will decline.
Right.
Yeah, your second contract is where you have to get paid. Unless you're a quarterback, then you can just keep getting.
And in the NFL, trades don't do you a lot of good. I'm trading you for future picks. I'm not really trading you starter for starter. So when the Bears pulled that trade off with the Raiders, there was no players exchanged. It was draft picks. because everybody's afraid of the Herschel Walker deal. You know, I'm sending you 11 draft picks for one guy. Or no, I'm sorry, they got a couple other guys, but they were scrubs. But at the end of the day, did that put Minnesota over the top? It did not. They had a marquee player to put on the field and a bad team around him. Didn't do anything with him. And within a couple years, he was returning kickoffs for the Giants. The Cowboys built a dynasty off of those draft picks.
Yep.
Draft picks in the NFL are more valuable than players to me. It's the exact opposite in basketball.
Well, as long as you can get them right.
Right.
But it's got to be who is your front office staff. And again, the Cowboys do a great job, offensive line, defensive line. They don't do well at any skill position. They haven't drafted a safety since probably Everson Walls that's been any good.
Everson Walls.
You can get a great running back, but Romo was supposed to be the starter. Dak we'll just take a chance on him. He got thrust in the spotlight because Tony Romo can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Well, he was jaded by Jessica Simpson too.
Well, listen, between her and the
He was
Kardashians,
sidetracked with he was.
The Kardashians and the Simpsons will drag all the talent out of you.
That's for sure.
But let's go back to the Chargers. Do the Chargers win their division if they have Gordon? I'm going to say it two ways. If they have him, do they win it?
I don't think they win it because of the Chiefs.
Right. So
I was gonna
again,
say no,
yeah.
that's my
altogether.
point. Even if you get these guys,
So it doesn't even matter either way. So the
Well-
Chiefs are going to stop them, and then you.
Well, what
the
it
Eagles
does,
are gonna
but
stop
it
the
does
Cowboys.
matter because without Gordon, they have zero chance.
Right.
With him, they have a chance. I just think the Chiefs
Very
will beat
slim.
them because this even goes into scheduling. When the Chiefs have to play at the Chargers this year, the NFL moved it and Chargers agreed. That game's in Mexico City,
Right.
so you don't even have a home field advantage.
That's right.
So you're playing in Mexico if they can get the field ready this year. They couldn't get the field ready last year. But you lose all that stuff. It all factors in. But without him, their backup is decent, but they have no chance without him.
I just think when you have a pass-happy league, everybody wants points. You're not even. I still remember the days of Walter Payton. You know, it'd be 13-10, and you knew he was going to carry 7 straight times. They might punt. They might have got a couple first downs. You're trying to kill the clock. Nobody has an offense where they can kill the clock anymore. It's not. You know, when you look at the Browns when they had Mack and Biner, those guys could share carries. You can't do that now because I can't pay one guy to carry the ball 17 times. He's making $6 million,
Right.
and the other guy's making $200,000.
Right. That's
You know,
not fair, right?
So you're not carrying enough talent in that position. The only way that somewhat works was the Ingram-Kamara incident.
Yeah.
But nobody wanted Kamara. He was such an athletically gifted guy, but he was always in trouble. So you take a chance, but now you have a problem where Ingram looked like a bust originally. You put them together, they're great. You can't hold on to both of them.
These guys that can't stay out of trouble, man.
Well,
So-
NFL's full of that, and
So
we all know that.
I already know Lou's answer. You don't care about preseason at all.
Absolutely not.
What about you, Mike?
I don't think it matters because they're not. I think once you've been there, you've already kind of installed your offense. You're not changing.
Right.
I think you have a change in coordinator. That's a big deal. If you go from a 4-3 to a 3-4,
But it doesn't matter. You're not even playing your starters.
no, that's what I'm saying. I think what you're missing is the time in the classroom
Right.
because that's the big. I shouldn't speak to this. Lou can speak to this better, but
But I mean, they have OTAs and all that stuff. That stuff goes in. And the key is don't start 0-2. Can you split your first 2 games? I don't care who you are. Only ones can pull off an 0-2 start is the Patriots because they traditionally start 2-3,
Yeah.
and then just
Start
run
slow.
run off 8 in a row on everybody.
they have that one loss to the Jets
The
or
Dolphins
Miami.
will beat them in week
Yeah.
2 down in Miami because they forget to catch the plane down
And
there.
I'll get crapped on for a week.
Oh, absolutely,
Everybody
probably
around.
for months. But
Now, I see what you're saying. I'm still just excited just for some football again.
Oh,
I mean, I
absolutely.
know I'm not going to be excited to watch any preseason stuff, but just for the fact that it's kind of right around the corner.
Well, when they do the Hall of Fame game up in Canton, I'll get all excited, turn it on, they'll kick off, they'll run 3 plays, and I'll never turn it back on. Yeah, never turn it back on. But who
the
knows?
only exciting thing about the Hall of Fame game was the Jeremy Shockey play because nobody had seen him, where he like stiff armed the guy into the crowd type thing. You can't find another highlight from that.
I want to see the Hall of Fame game be all super old Hall of Famers playing.
I think that's what's
That would
called,
be a
that's the-
slow motion
That's the
game.
alumni tournament.
I would
we're
literally
gonna be
watch
in.
that.
Oh no, not we. We's not playing in the alumni tournament. That would be you.
Before Lou is 50, I'm going to get him back into the Grove City alumni tournament.
Well,
I'm
you got
telling
about 3 weeks.
Listen, I'll get
3
you.
weeks,
All
turn
right, this
50 in
weekend.
3 weeks.
This weekend.
Yeah, it's not this weekend.
Not
Don't
this
hype. I mean, we started the hype now.
Okay.
Next week is like everybody
So
takes
we
the
got a
week
couple
off.
weeks to get it going.
Yeah,
Okay.
everybody takes a week off in Grove City. That's all you're doing is alumni stuff. So this is your last chance. This is airing on a Sunday, but get your party hats on because Grove City Alumni is ready to go.
Self-promotion over there.
Wasn't it?
Shameless
It's not even
self-promotion.
my thing, man. But Lou will be out there
Negative.
cheering everybody
You
on.
represent the
There
GC,
you go.
man.
That might help.
Well, that's it, boys. So again, I just want last predictions. We're all agreeing. It doesn't matter if these two guys sign because they'll eventually sign, but
The Eagles.
nobody's winning anything with either one of these teams anyway.
But I think Zeke will probably get what he's
Yeah,
deserving.
and neither team has a chance if these guys hold out. That's the more important issue.
But they still don't have a chance.
Even if they do.
If they do, get
Yeah.
this out.
So get that checkbook ready.
All right, we'll see what happens.
All right, boys, that's it for Middles Open. We will see you next weekend.